Record proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
This is For the Record with Orrett CONN0R.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett CONN0R.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Wednesday, the 26th day of October 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian or a cyclist, or if you're operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, including using your indicators whenever you're going to make changes when you in terms of the direction that you are going or you will be going. Also, whenever you're navigating a roundabout, please ensure that you use your indicators as well. Remember, if you observe the rules of the road, then one of the lives that you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, and we also want to remind you that the For the Record birthday shoutouts are proudly brought to you by life insurance agent Michael Webster from Cayman Insurance Center, and he wants to remind you to make the right decision for your family's future today as well. If you celebrated a birthday over the past few days, we want to wish you a belated happy birthday as well. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. We want to send special condolences out to Miss Jewel Lindsay Evans and her family on the passing of the matriarch of that family, Miss Elva Evans. So we here at Radio Cayman and all of your friends and colleagues want to send their sincere condolences to you, and also to pledge their support in your hour of need as well. So again, condolences going out to Miss Jewel Lindsay Evans and her family on the passing of the matriarch of the family, Miss Elva Evans as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, we want to wish you a speedy recovery as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett CONN0R, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, where you can send us a text message or leave us a voice note, the contents of which will be played during the course of the show. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. So, other persons celebrating a birthday today, and this is coming from a Facebook page. We have Jason Foster celebrating a birthday today. Tivon Anderson, Carl Grant, and Jordana Tibbetts, all celebrating a birthday today. We want to wish them a happy birthday today. We also, I'm not sure if they will be hearing us, Miss Susan, but we want to say to our listeners over in the Sister Islands that we're working feverishly on the issues that we have there, the technical issues as a result of a lightning strike. We have a technical person, an engineer over there working on that now, and hopefully we will have you back on the air soon. Meanwhile, you can download the app or the Radio Cayman app, and as a result of that, you will be able to listen to us on YouTube, as well. So download the app, or you can follow us on YouTube as well. Looking for the news that we would want to share with you this morning. Any releases from the government information services as well. Of course, yesterday we had the swearing in of our new Chief Justice here, and of course the Governor, Chief Justice, they were involved in that. Attorney General, Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, the Cayman Island President of the SILPA, Mr. Eric Borden, would have given remarks as well, and the responses would have come from the various persons there as well. Looking to find if I can share with you some of the speeches that were delivered. Okay. The Director of Public Prosecutions, this is what was said by the director, congratulatory speech, read Chief Justice Ramsey Hale. Says, Your Excellency, the Governor, Deputy Governor, distinguished members of the government, and distinguished members of the judiciary, Sir Anthony, Madam Chief Justice, my lady, together with all members of the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, I congratulate you on your appointment as Chief Justice of the Cayman Islands and look forward to working with you to assist and support you in ensuring an efficient and effective criminal justice system. In saying congratulations and welcome to you, I also acknowledge the long-standing and outstanding service of the former Chief Justice, Sir Anthony. My lady, it is with great pleasure that I address you with a few short words today. Prior to considering what I was to say, I noted from the announcement of your appointment that it was your, quote, extensive legal knowledge and significant leadership together with your vision, passion, and commitment to strengthen our judicial system and rule of law that have put you where you are today. Those attributes, vision, passion, and commitment, plainly combine with all of the usual and necessary facets of a Chief Justice, namely patience, integrity, impartiality, and fairness, to name but a few. It is also plain that those attributes have seen you become the first Lady Chief Justice in 2 jurisdictions, a remarkable achievement. We all know that for someone to excel in such a way, there is more to you and to those attributes which I have just mentioned. The Cayman Islands Law Reports and the Turks and Caicos Islands Law Reports have assisted me with what I needed to know. There, I was able to read some of the judgments and echo the words of the Attorney General in this regard, which you delivered month after month, involving orders for the sale of land, the intricacies of commercial leases, the sensitivity which you attach to declarations of children as wards of the court, the compassionate but firm approach required of you in immigration matters, the independence you displayed in dealing with breaches of constitutional rights, providing a succinct summary of the issues relating to declarations of trusts, overcoming the complexities of multi-million-dollar commercial litigation, and even getting to grips with exceptional circumstances arguments in firearms cases. To quote the ancient Greek word poikila, the judgments I read demonstrate your multifaceted abilities and hard work ethic to address a wide variety of legal issues at the very highest level. Out of court, your involvement in numerous extrajudicial engagements which you have undertaken over the years, for instance, in training workshops to do with criminal procedure reform, domestic violence, and special measures for vulnerable witnesses, further demonstrates your passion for the law and advocacy. Accordingly, in addition to those attributes I mentioned a few moments ago, it is plain that your remarkable achievements also can be measured by your common sense, the fact that you act with compassion and firmness, your hard work ethic, but also because you appear blessed with a deep grasp of the law in addition to a sharp intellect and quick will. I will pause there because we have to go to a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series. Brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Some military action took place off the sea during World War II. On land, very little military action took place despite the installation of the U.S. Naval Base in Georgetown. Although they did have regular rounds of duties, the Americans had opportunities to interact with locals when not on duty. Informal parties were held at Petra Plantation, Hislop's Ice Cream Parlor, or the tea shop run by Madeline and Myrtle Ebanks. Reverend George Hicks, a Presbyterian minister, was appointed honorary chaplain. As would be, romance blossomed, as well as including the marriage of Lillian Bodden, daughter of Captain Rail and Chief Warrant Officer Jack Howard. However, tensions did occasionally rise, especially if the young Caymanian women were overly friendly to the Americans. On several occasions, fights between the Caymanian men and American military would break out near the town hall, with the most serious incident taking place in December 1943 when 40 of the Caymanian men were home on leave.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza is Saturday, November 26th. Your ticket, your chance, your prize. Grand prize, $40,000. Second prize, $4,000. 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Get your $25 tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, eventpro.ky, or WhatsApp Rotarian Annie Rose Scott in Cayman Brac at 916-7310. The Rotary Music Extravaganza at Salty's Grand Harbor. Performances by Heat, Fabulous 68, and CNB. November 26th, you can be the winner. Proceeds fund Rotary Central Community Projects. Rotary Central NPO number 232. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamped Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
J and Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at JN Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So, remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any JN Money location and send your money. The fast, convenient, and affordable JN Money. JN Money, touching down again. JN Money, ranga to la friend.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Orrett CONN0R.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio. We will have members of the opposition in after the 8 o'clock news. They will be in the studio with us. We had something planned this morning with the Constitutional Commission, but as a result of some last-minute changes, we had to make adjustments to that. We hope that we will be able to accommodate them on Friday because there's a special presentation that is going to take place on For the Record as well. So we're certainly looking forward to that. Meanwhile, we have a birthday greetings to go out to Mr. Reese Ebanks. And those birthday greetings are coming from his wife, Sasha, and Jess and Cammie, and they're wishing him a great day with lots of love. Now, Mr. Reese Banks is a prominent member of our cycling group in the morning, or Daybreakers, combined with the Gramps group. We have two groups, Daybreakers and the older guys. Well, that's a WhatsApp group that we have. That's a Gramps group as well. But Mr. Reese is member of our cycling group, and just finding about this, discovering his birthday today. Now, I'm not sure whether or not he was trying to hide that from us, because as you know, we have a tradition where, or you may or may not know, we have a tradition where you have to double your age in miles whenever your birthday comes around, at least until you get reach 70, 71. And that age has not been arbitrarily selected. It was selected because that was the age that I'm at, and sometimes I get to make the rules. Not that they necessarily follow them as well. But so it seems as if Mr. Reese was trying to hide his birthday so that he wouldn't have to double his miles. But I'm sure that even if he had to double his age in miles, it would not have made him anymore. It would not have required him to ride any more than maybe about 60 miles. Can't be any more than about 30 years old, Reese. At least the way he rides that way as well. But special birthday greetings coming from his wife Sasha, from Jess and Cammie as well. And also to point out to you that his wife Sasha, she's out there cycling in the mornings, 4 o'clock, 4:15 in the morning, out there cycling as well, doing a great job also. So big birthday greetings coming to you, Reese, not only from your wife and Jess and Cammie, but from the Daybreakers group as well. We hope that you have a great day today, and whatever you do it in moderation, because remember, you have to put those miles in later on as well. We still have about 5 minutes before we go to our 8 o'clock news. And those of you who go into retirement, and there's no doubt that you have so many things, especially, on your job that you want to accomplish before then. And sometimes things have to be, they're all compressed in to one effort to get that done. Not saying that this is the case, but the Chief Justice, Sir Anthony Smellie, has announced the publication of a layman's guide to court proceedings. And you constantly hear the pundits either on radio or on Facebook or whatever talking about legal issues. So here the Chief Justice has provided some assistance in the area, and this release says that as one of his final official duties before demitting office, Chief Justice Honorable Sir Anthony Smellie has announced the publication of a layman's guide to proceedings in the Grand Court. Says that the guide will be published on www.judicial.ky under Guidance Practice Directions later this week. Practice Direction number 7, Mackenzie Friend, I've heard that term before, very important, Civil and Family Court, which defines what a person who supports and advises personal litigants in court but does not speak on their behalf can and cannot do, and that will be available on www.judicial.ky, similarly located under the practice directions. Goes on to say that the guide and the practice directions are considered companion guides to the Small Claims Handbook, the equivalent guide for summary court civil cases published in 2015 by the then Complaints Commissioner's Office, now Office of the Ombudsman, in collaboration with the courts. Sir Anthony is quoted as saying, the Small Claims Handbook is also accessible on www.judicial.ky. The release goes on to say that as stated in the foreword of the Grand Court Guide by Sir Anthony, the aim of the manual is to provide information about court rules and procedures using language that is easily understood. It is particularly aimed at persons who may not have access to legal representation, though it will be useful to all litigants. The primary objective of this guide is to provide the public with a resource that is essentially a how-to guide for initiating or responding to civil proceedings in the court. It is not, however, intended to replace appropriate legal advice, Sir Anthony emphasized, but rather to strengthen would-be litigants' ability to take the full advantage of available resources, including any available legal advice and resources such as relevant practice directions and legislation. Towards that goal, the guide includes a glossary of typical terms used in legislation and in court proceedings as well. This is fairly lengthy, but I wanted to provide you with at least that part of the information because, folks, we've reached the top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation will continue. We will have members of the opposition in the studio with us, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Conner. And studio time now by Foster's is 7:59. It's not easy being a ghost. Things feel so empty.
Have you ever thought of trying Live Well by Foster's and CG Britcay?
I'm a little past living.
That's okay. Live Well is focused on maintaining a holistically balanced life, or afterlife. This month, they're even featuring a super spooky, healthy Halloween.
And this is all free?
Absolutely. All available on the web.
On the web? Which one? I have so many.
Not cobwebs. Online at livewell.fosters.ky.
Oh, guess I'll give it a try.
That's the spirit. Live Well with Foster's and CG Britcay.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
New leadership at the helm of the Cayman Islands Tourism Association. Troy Leacock, water sport operator, is the new president.
I'm very excited to work with the new board of directors for the upcoming year as we strive to increase and broaden our membership to fully represent and engage all stakeholders of the tourism industry.
Mr. Troy Leacock, new president of the Cayman Islands Tourism Association. While celebrating the appointment and swearing in of Cayman's first female Chief Justice, the Honorable Margaret Ramsey Hale, His Excellency Governor Martin Roper also took time in Tuesday's swearing in to mark on the accomplishments and contributions of outgoing Chief Justice Sir Anthony Smellie.
During your tenure as Chief Justice, the volume, the character and extent of the judicial work in the Cayman Islands expanded enormously. The judiciary doubled in size. The number of licensed lawyers increased fivefold. The size of the judiciary and the number of licensed lawyers in Cayman exceeds several of the independent and larger countries in the Commonwealth Caribbean.
Governor Roper drew attention to a recent achievement by Sir Anthony.
You have shown exceptional judicial acumen through the quality and impact of your judgments, which stand out impressively. And you have worked tirelessly to the end, only very recently launching the new Cayman Judicial and Legal Foundation. For your achievements, you were rightly awarded a knighthood in Her late Majesty's birthday honours. That was greatly merited. We are grateful and highly appreciative of your contribution.
His Excellency Governor Martin Roper there at Tuesday's swearing in of our new Chief Justice, the Honorable Margaret Ramsey Hale. If you've walked through downtown Georgetown lately, you already know the revitalization project is well on its way. In fact, Phase 1 of the project is nearing completion as Seafarers Way is prepared for final enhancement work. Of course, that won't come without a bit of discomfort. As part of the last phase of the project, Seafarers Way will be gaining 2 pedestrian crossings that will connect the new Cardinal Avenue to Seafarers Way Pocket Park on the waterfront, as well as adding additional landscaping and the installation of a solar-powered smart bench that will offer free Wi-Fi courtesy of SALT technology. In order to complete that work, Seafarers Way between Fort Street and Goring Avenue will be open to one-way traffic from Thursday, October 27th at 4 p.m. to Thursday, November 10th at 4 p.m. Local access will still be available. The Georgetown Revitalization Project says from 4 to 7 p.m. the road will be open to southbound traffic, and then from 7 p.m. to 4 the road will be open to northbound traffic. Large trucks and containers traveling north during this time will be rerouted at Memorial Avenue to help mitigate congestion. The Security Center confirms the person involved in the incident at Bayshore Mall Monday morning was an employee. Police were called out to report of an unresponsive man at the site who was later pronounced dead. Shareholders and the management team of Security Center extended condolences to family and friends of the man and encouraged the public to respect the privacy of his family, peers, and colleagues during what is clearly a difficult time. That is your latest local news. Now to the BBC for stories making headlines around the world. I'm April Cummings.
BBC News with Debbie Russ. A rights organisation is reporting that Iranian security forces have opened fire on protesters in Saqqez, the hometown of Mahsa Amini, who died in custody last month. The Hengol rights group says tear gas has also been used against crowds gathered by Ms. Amini's grave to mark 40 days since her death. The French president has welcomed the German chancellor at a summit in Paris, which is likely to be dominated by recent disagreements, especially over Ukraine. Several planned Franco-German meetings have recently been cancelled, and this one will attempt to patch up the relationship. Lebanon has started returning Syrian refugees to their home country, with the first group of 6,000 already on their way. The move has been strongly criticised by human rights groups on the grounds that Syria is not yet safe for returnees. The United Nations is appealing for more than $30 million to help curb a rapidly spreading cholera outbreak in Syria. The waterborne disease is now affecting all areas of the country, with 24,000 suspected cases and at least 80 deaths so far. The Dutch government has launched an investigation into media reports that China is operating unofficial police stations in the Netherlands to silence its opponents. Beijing has rejected the allegations. Britain's new Prime Minister has defended his decision to reappoint Suella Braverman as Home Secretary, just a week after she was sacked. Ms Braverman had admitted breaking rules on security by sending a sensitive email from her personal account and to the wrong person. An autopsy is being carried out at a hospital in the Kenyan city of Mombasa on the body of a British tourist who died 2 years ago at the house of a controversial cult leader. The remains of Lutfunisa Kwandwala from Leicester were exhumed in the presence of family members. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers and the motoring public of planned works to upgrade the water supply infrastructure along Marina Drive between Almond Avenue and the Harbour House Marina. Preliminary work began the week of 12th September. Work will take place weekdays between 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. The project will last for approximately 12 weeks. During the course of the works, traffic management measures will be in place with signs directing the traffic flow. Motorists are encouraged to drive with caution when they are in the area to protect their safety and the safety of the Water Authority's staff. Customers in the area may experience service outages throughout the work. The authority will make every effort to give advanced notice related to outages. Customers can visit our website www.waterauthority.ky for outage notices. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public as it undertakes these works and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
The Rotary Central Music Extravaganza is Saturday, November 26th. Your ticket, your chance, your prize. Grand prize, $40,000. Second prize, $4,000. 6 $1,000 prizes and more. Get your $25 tickets now through Rotary Central members, Rotary Central ticket sellers, eventpro.ky, or WhatsApp Rotarian Annie Rose Scott in Cayman Brack at 916-7310. The Rotary Music Extravaganza at Salty's Grand Harbor. Performances by Heat, Fabulous 68 and CNB. November 26th, you can be the winner. Proceeds fund Rotary Central Community Projects. Rotary Central NPO number 232. Rotary, all the good you imagine.
Christmas is coming.
What? The holidays is around the corner, and we know you've got a home project you've been trying to finish, but just don't have the time. Maybe it's a new paint job, rebuilding that patio, interior or exterior finishes. Take the stress away and call CONN0R General Construction to get the job done the right way. CONN0R General Construction Services includes build-to-suit, renovations, architectural assistance, subcontracting, and general construction for big or small, commercial and residential buildings. For quality, consistency, and projects done on time, call Scotty at CONN0R General Construction at 929-1827. That's 929-1827. Or email at constructiontripler@gmail.com and get your home ready for the holidays.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Hey, Bill. Glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Britcay. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mark Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 81 degrees. Relative humidity is 74%. The barometric pressure is 29.89 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 76. Synopsis indicate light winds and slight seas expected over the next 24 hours due to a weak pressure gradient across the northwest Caribbean. Radar images show isolated showers around the Cayman area moving towards the southwest. Now the forecast for today and tonight calling for mainly fair skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures today will be in the upper 80s and will fall to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to northeast at 5 to 10 knots, and seas will be slight with wave heights of 1 to 3 feet. High time will be this morning at 9 minutes past 10, low tide this afternoon at 2 minutes after 4, and a high tide again tonight at 9:20. The sun will set this evening at 5:53 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:25. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Friday morning.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Hey guys, I got a joke for you. What did one ocean say to the other?
I don't know.
Nothing. It just waved.
I don't get it.
An ocean? It waves to another ocean.
Oceans can't wave. They don't have hands.
What?
How would they even see each other? They don't have eyes either.
Seriously, how are you not getting this?
Oceans aren't even alive. Nothing you said makes sense.
With most claims paid within a few days, we're like a friend that doesn't miss the joke. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at how your traffic is shaping up this morning. Busy traffic coming off of Esteli Tibbetts Highway. Slight delays expected. Traffic also busy on the Linford Pearson Highway. And on Cool Road, traffic is busy heading to Georgetown. Eastbound traffic on Cool Road is moving on moderately. Coming from the West Bay 4-way stop, traffic flowing pretty good. Godfrey Nixon West Eastern Avenue traffic is flowing at a good pace, and into Georgetown on Shedden Road not looking too bad. Out of Georgetown on Shedden Road, moderate flow of traffic. Traffic is light to moderate on Owen Roberts Drive as we look to Bobby Thompson Way. Traffic is steady coming off of Bobby Thompson Way, and steady traffic coming off of Agnes Way as well. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll have another update just for you. Have a good morning and click it or tick it.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist, or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
And the whole island is one big party, party, party.
Little Cayman, the 2022 Pirates Fest season starts with you. November 4th through the 6th with the official kickoff at McCoy's Sunset Bar, Friday the 4th, followed by the float parade. 3 p.m. on the 5th, starting from Southern Cross. Costume competition, fireworks show, and don't forget about the Pirates Party at the Hungry Iguana. You know them pirates like a little party, Little Cayman style. Little Cayman Pirates Fest, November 4th through the 6th.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
For the record, with Orrett CONN0R.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett CONN0R. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me now the Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Joey Hugh. Mr. Hugh, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and thank you so much for having me. And good morning to the listening public out there, in particular on all three islands, and in particular those in Georgetown North this morning. Let me first offer apologies on behalf of the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, who's a bit under the weather this morning, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery.
Yes.
I'm sure he's listening in. He just didn't feel well enough to make it in this morning. And OC, I just also want to take an opportunity to wish a belated birthday to Miss Marjorie Bancroft down in Snug Harbour. Yesterday was her birthday, so I just wanted to give her a shout out there. And the Honourable Leader also asked me to, I think you may have sent greetings already this morning, but asked me to extend warm birthday greetings to his constituent Reese.
Reese, yes.
So he asked me to do that for him this morning as well. OC, I also want to take the opportunity to congratulate the new Chief Justice, Margaret Ramsey Hale, and also to wish the outgoing Chief Justice a very restful and fruitful retirement. Well deserved. He has served his country well, and I think he can hold his head high and go and enjoy his retirement, knowing that he has served faithfully. I just also want to say that there seems to be some confusion, or there was perhaps an oversight, but we as the opposition did not seem to get an invitation to the swearing in. And that is the only reason none of us were there. So unless it was sent to a mailbox that we don't use, or if they were delivered by hand somewhere and they're sitting in a box, we certainly did not receive it. Otherwise, we would have certainly had representation there. But in any event, we would like to extend our congratulations to the Chief Justice Margaret Ramsey Hale.
Yep, certainly. Okay, any new happenings?
Yeah, I think I'll just jump right into it this morning.
Sure.
We'll see. There was a paragraph, 2 paragraphs in the Auditor General's report on government spending.
Prior to the elections.
Well, it's a government spending period.
Okay.
But what she did was there was 2 paragraphs, NRA, there was pre-election spending and commitments.
Mm-hmm.
And she put in here, NRA, I noted through the audit of the NRA an unusual spike in executive. And executive is important in this because executive, we'll see to explain to everyone, is executive assets are your large assets, the major projects, right? So your main roads, your big major main roads, roundabouts, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's another vote or another appropriation in the NRA called District Road Works. District Road Works, we separate up the money between each district and we put out a schedule and they do the repairs of all the small roads and that sort of stuff. It's very important to understand the difference between those two, especially in the context that the Auditor General is raising this,
Mm-hmm,
right?
mm-hmm.
So during the Executive Road Fund revenue and related costs during the period February to April 2021, this expenditure was approximately $11 million or 88% of the total $13 million executive road construction budget for the first 4 months of 2021. As of 31st December 2021, the NRA had billed a total of $23 million for this revenue stream. The funding gap was covered by supplemental funding and unused 2020 appropriations. This is also extremely important. We extended our analysis by comparing these results with those from previous election years, 2017, and noted the same trend, that road services revenue increased in the 3 months leading up to the election. She went on to say that this could indicate an abuse of public funds in the period leading up to the 2021 general elections. The analysis we carried out shows a significant spike in road funding revenue billed during the period February to April 2021. The NRA is susceptible to political interference, whereby to gain political benefit, politicians with influences over operations may determine when and where road infrastructure projects can be undertaken. I noted that there is no framework governing road construction services for the executive assets construction. This makes NRA susceptible for political abuse. So I noted that there is no framework governing road construction services executive assets construction. There is a framework because generally the government will set out its plans, and everyone knew that east-west arterial, the traffic from the east, we set out and said these are the roads that we're going to do. Mm-hmm. The NRA, National Roads Authority, is a statutory body. So it has its own board, it has its own chairman. And the chairman is appointed, the board is appointed, and then the government will say to him, these are our priorities. Right. And they go about doing that.
Okay.
I'm a bit concerned why the Auditor General, I do pray that she's not being used as a political tool in this. But as an auditor, perhaps she should have dug a bit deeper. Because A, it is executive assets. And B, if she had looked even at the NRA website, and I've printed off a few articles here and press releases, she would have known that the reason funds were, as she noted, were remaining from 2020 and used in early 2021 was because of COVID, because of the lockdown. It wasn't until May of 2020 that a small set of NRA employees were tested and sent out to start doing some road works. That was May. So we had not used any of the 2-year budget up until that point. Mm-hmm. Once we were able to get up and going, OC, and I have to say that CNS as well posted a very misleading headline, basically saying that the Auditor General had found political interference and et cetera, which shines poorly not only on myself but certainly on the hard-working members of the NRA. So the 4th of March 2021, so this is the same period that the Auditor General is speaking to. The CNS had an article, NRA works on east-west arterial extension. Work on the next section of the long-awaited east-west arterial extension started this week. Just 6 weeks out from the general election, NRA will be constructing a roundabout at the Hearst Road junction, where the bypass currently ends, and extending the road east of Woodland Drive and then south towards Shamrock Road, east of Breadfruit Drive, and across from Agricola Drive, officials have said. So she said Premier Alden McLaughlin stated in April 2019, almost 2 years ago, that this highway was going to be fast-tracked. Of course, COVID came. And what is important as well is that we had just received approval from the Department of Environment to construct that small section of the highway, right? So as soon as we were able to get out on the road, it started. The same article, OC, went on to say that the Premier's 2020 New Year's message, he promised to start tackling the traffic problems, but the arrival of COVID-19 pandemic effectively placed the government's policy agenda on hold. Just what I said, right? There was a policy agenda that NRA had from the government. We were not able to do anything for almost 2 years, and once the ability to get out there and start working, we started. It said, however, it went on to say the East-West Arterial Extension is not the only project that the NRA is currently working on. Other projects include Godfrey Nixon Way Extension, Shamrock Road widening, Kings Connector, and the Airport Connector roads. These are all extremely important infrastructure roads to ease the traffic, especially from those from the Eastern District. We'll see the Airport Connector Road in November, December of this year, and maybe into January at the peak of the tourist season, when you have 20,000 rental cars, when you have 500 passengers a day arriving at airport, getting into taxis, trying to get to West Bay Road, Butterfield Roundabout is going to be at a standstill. Traffic will be from the Butterfield Roundabout, down Dorset Drive to the airport, down Redgate Road to the airport. It will be a standstill. That Airport Connector Road is vital. It is vital. It's already on a Saturday, and most evenings, lunchtime and evenings, you can barely get through there now.
Yeah, and can for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, can you brief us as to where that connector road would be located?
We started phase 1 of the connector road, which would be from on the Esley Tibbetts Highway from what is called the Cayman International School CIS roundabout. It traverses in behind the landfill and connects with Sparky Drive. Phase 2 would take it from that industrial area at the end of Sparky Drive along the coastline and connect it to the intersection by the Georgetown Yacht Club on North Sound Road. The government have started, I think in collaboration with the private sector, they have started that road from the airport end, from the Georgetown Yacht Club end. I think they'll get about a quarter way up. At least just 2 lanes, one lane.
And I think that was an early announcement that they made with that in terms of the continuation of that project.
There was a massive hold-up on phase 1, which I understand they said eventually that it was due to culverts. I know the culverts have been installed, so I don't know what the hold-up is now. I have heard that there's funding issues, but those are only rumors. I can't actually confirm those. But I do know that this road should have been over any other district road. Now say that because a lot of district roads have been done. This road certainly should have been a priority before this tourism season. It is going to create quite a bit of problems. So is the Godfrey Nixon extension. And I do believe that the motoring public coming from Prospect, coming from Red Bay, coming from the Eastern Districts can appreciate the work that we did, in particular while it was quiet and the kids were still being homeschooled and there were no tourists. We reconfigured the Chrissy Tomlinson roundabout, we reconfigured the Prospect roundabout, and we reconfigured the Hurley's roundabout all during that time. Putting in the different lanes within the roundabout, the mark, and allowing straight-through traffic made a tremendous difference. And now you add the 3rd lane that we had started working on as well, from Chrissy Tomlinson to Hurley's. That has also made a huge difference.
Right.
We started on the Kings Connector Road, which they stopped, and I see that they've restarted. The traffic modeling system tells us that Kings Connector Road, which connects from the Kings Roundabout into Grand Harbour, will have a huge impact, in particular on the traffic heading east in the evenings. So you'll be able to siphon off all of the Grand Harbor residents and hopefully connect that into Red Bay and on and on and on. So you'll siphon those off at that roundabout, allowing traffic to flow faster.
They would basically become sort of like local traffic as opposed to those that are heading out to the east. Okay.
Exactly. And so that, for those going home in the evenings, I saw one person yesterday complaining that their baby's bedtime is at 7 p.m. and they're not going to make it home in time because they're sitting in traffic heading home in the evenings on the Linford-Pearson Highway. So that's going to be critical for that as well. The other thing that we did, and I have an article here from May 14th, 2020, the small crew from the Cayman Compass, that is. The small crew that we were able to put together. It said, the National Roads Authority says it's taken advantage of the decrease in traffic due to COVID-19 lockdown to accelerate road infrastructure work. So from May 14 in 2020, we indicated that we're going to go full speed. And what we did was, I need to rewind, because the one other thing that we did during the lockdown to assess, to help with traffic, which I keep forgetting, that was hugely impactful, was the reconfiguration of what we used to call Confusion Junction by Jose's. You remember that? The amount of accidents that used to happen in that? So we reconfigured that as well during the COVID period. And that has had a tremendous improvement. That's a tremendous improvement to that area. If people remember how many accidents used to happen there, and used to call it a confusion junction or conjunction, something like that.
Well, there was one malfunction junction.
Malfunction junction, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah, malfunction junction.
Yes.
That's what they called it. So, but then what we did, all of those that I just said were the ones that we did in that period that the Auditor General talked about. We hit the ground running. We had leftover funds from 2020 because we couldn't spend for half of the year. What we did when we were able to get a small crew out after testing them and ensuring that they tested daily for COVID, we tackled projects that we had wanted to do for a very, very long time. But because of the interruption to traffic, we couldn't do it. And those were the Shedden Road area. Remember, we repaved all of Shedden Road. We started the West Bay Road. Unfortunately, the Water Authority then said that they had works that they needed to carry out, so we were not able to finish that. It still hasn't been finished. I see Water Authority is back working there this week. So a number of the roads were the asphalt across Grand, including Shedden Road, North Sound Road we did, remember? Because can you imagine closing North Sound Road now to pave it? West Bay Road. These would have been all very difficult to do during regular traffic time. Thursday's release noted that Infrastructure Minister Joey Hew had said that the planned expenditure for 2021 infrastructure works include more than $25 million in road projects that will provide a much-needed stimulus to the local economy during the COVID-19 crisis. So, OC, what I have done is I've just laid out there for you that the reasons for the spending, what the monies were spent on, and why so much was done within that period and where the funding came from. And I think everyone using the roads today can only imagine if those improvements were not done during that period, what traffic would be like right now.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hew, will continue. So don't change that dial. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Can you imagine your home completely organized? At Brand Source Custom Closets, we can. We specialize in designing and building custom closets and storage units for any room in your home, including the garage. With tailored designs and custom LED lighting solutions to fit your lifestyle and budget. Our custom closets expert is committed to enhancing the value of your home with a solution that is uniquely yours. Visit our showroom or call 623-6774 to schedule a no-obligation appointment with our design expert. Brand Source Custom Closets, 209 Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Pirates Fest. A little bit of old, a little bit of new. The evolution of Cayman's Pirates. A little bit of fun for everyone. Grand Cayman festivities from November 10th through the 20th. 10 days, 33 events. From happy hour parties, cardboard boat races, the Trial of the Pirates, float parade, national song competition, pooch parades, races, fireworks. So many fireworks. Pirates Fest is here. 33 events, 10 days, November 10th through the 20th. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Pirate fire, raging through Church Street, bright and little Cayman, putting on some.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the people's station. Your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Orrett CONN0R.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. One of our listeners has written in and said that you did an excellent job reminding the public of the many works that were completed, and they believe that it also helped to provide clarity on the spending that the report spoke about. And then one of our other listeners has said that Malfunction Junction was sorted out back in 2018 as well. Now, the roundabout at the old Kirk Motors and Mango Tree, that was I think that was the one that was referred to as Malfunction Junction, and that's the one where I think at one point in time the then Executive Council, because it was still called Executive Council at that point in time, we had a minister who basically, had a handwritten, a hand-drawn map as to how that was supposed to function as well. So here we had a seasoned politician knowing nothing about engineering and deciding to try to solve that situation there, and that's why that was referred to as Malfunction Junction as well. Okay, back over to you, sir.
No problem. Yeah, I thank the those persons, for the listeners, for their comments, and I think it is important. I think I've just laid out and just to recap, OC, that the executive funds. Mm-hmm. The executive funds are for capital projects, major road works, not for district works. If you want to talk about vote buying and stuff, you're talking about district works.
Paving driveways and all that stuff.
Paving driveways and stuff. Right? The funds were appropriated for the works that we carried out. As I said, we carried out a lot of works. We prioritized some works in 2020, at the end of 2020, once after we got out from COVID. Shedden Road, North Sound Road, West Bay Road, roads that we would not normally be able to close and pave. Mm-hmm. And so we took advantage of no school, took advantage of no tourists, and we did those roads. When we were interrupted by COVID, we were right in the middle of trying to deal with the traffic coming from the eastern districts. That was increasing to 6 lanes from the Chrissy Tomlinson roundabout down to the Hurley's roundabout. That was reconfiguring the 3 roundabouts to allow through traffic and to make it clearer how they should work. OC, I remember the AG, the Attorney General, giving me updates every morning as to how long it took him to get from the back of Prospect to the main road. And when we reconfigured that, the old Prospect Road there, and reconfigured the roundabout, it more than cut the time in half for him. And he was my daily reporter. Every day he said, I've left at this time. This is what it took when the changes were made. In fact, I think one time we made a change, because what we did, just going down memory lane a little bit, was we tried making the changes first using the police. So we said, what happened if we close this lane this way?
Yes.
And we did that. And AG would tell me, I said, oh, no, that didn't work. And I also had a young lady by the name of Lisa, I won't say her last name. She was coming from the Bodden Town area, and she gave me time. And then, of course, Edward Howard, the acting director, lived dropped his kids to school in that area. Okay. So every morning, everybody reported how long it took to get from A to B to C on a proper morning with no accidents. And so we were using the police, and we said, okay, we tried this morning. No, that created a backup in Bodden Town. And that's how that's basically how we figured out the best way to do it. And we created 2 lanes heading west and on Prospect, etc. And so I think everyone was very happy at the time that we made those changes. I can't imagine what traffic would be like now if we had not reconfigured those roundabouts, reconfigured Prospect Road, not add the extra lanes along that stretch. And of course, we had started negotiations on the Linford-Pearson Highway, and it's so important also to show that, you don't want to politicize something as important as this. You don't want to politicize something that have people that's allowing people a better quality of life. So it's shown because the new minister and the NRA have continued the very same works that we started. They haven't stopped any of them. They've delayed some, reprioritized some, but they haven't stopped any of them. They haven't cancelled any of them, because we use a traffic modeling system, an electronic system that tells us that these are the best, that these efforts are the best efforts in order to reduce traffic times and to provide better quality of living for our people. So I can imagine if I had transferred those funds from executive to district roadworks. Absolutely, that's something completely different. So I'm just baffled why the Auditor General just stopped at that and didn't take a look a little further back and did not indicate important events such as the pandemic and the lockdown, etc.
And did the Auditor General in any way seek any clarification from former members of government, or
certainly not from the minister, not from myself? Yeah. Absolutely not. And it's funny how she just named out the NRA. This reminds me very much of the witch hunt that was made on the overseas offices and the Dubai Expo, which the government have turned around and have continued to proceed down those roads in any event. I did FOI the terms of reference for that audit, and I did FOI all of the communications between the government and Auditor General on that, but I did that about 6 months ago. I've yet to receive any response on that.
Wow. Okay, if I could share this WhatsApp message. Person says the Auditor General also does have a valid and poignant point in relation to the increase in spending and works done in road works / fixes that happen before all elections, and most of the public has seen with their own eyes, and the perception is that it happens for political reasons. Person goes on to say, we need to ensure there are policies in place and a proper business and proper buses and proper bus stops, and more importantly, a schedule of that works. Put a moratorium on cars. So they've added on to that.
But absolutely.
We with the Auditor General part of it, I think, I believe it was in the 1990s. Was it the unity government that was in place? That was when areas like Spots Street was paved, and the asphalt was so thick that if you were riding a bicycle and you tried to ride off onto the shoulder of the road from the asphalt, it was something like about at least 6 inches thick. My comment at that point in time was, the government is paving its way out of office. And that is exactly what happened.
So it backfired in that case. I have no issue with putting, I believe in good governance. I have no issue with identifying a broad policy across all spending before the election. You could give away scholarships. You could, they want to look at perhaps look at ministers, the funds coming out of the ministry and what they're spent on, whether it's sponsoring kids or sponsoring whatever. Anything could be under scrutiny. I do believe in having proper processes set up. What I am saying this morning, and I thank that person for their comments. What I'm saying this morning, I just laid out through press releases from the NRA and comments by myself that these were road works that were priorities of the government that would have been done had it not been for COVID. And only because we could get out there and get it done why we were able to do it. And only the reason we were able to do it was because the funding was left over from the previous year and we brought it forward and used it. I don't think anyone coming from the Eastern Districts are going to argue about having those roadworks done and whether or not they have been a positive impact on their lives. I am still concerned about West Bay Road as the tourist comes in. It's not complete. They haven't completed the bike lanes, the demarcations of the bike lanes.
And when you say West Bay Road, you're talking about the old
road? The 7 mile beach road.
Yes, yeah.
Because if you notice, when the tourists come back, I'm sure that the scooter tours will be back. All of the hotels are now offering bicycles. You see the tourists and the bicycles. Those bike lanes need to be properly demarcated. They need to ensure that they remove all sorts of obstacles from there. They have to slow down that middle lane. They have to put something in place to stop people from racing down those middle lanes. Yes. I mean, I traverse there all the time, and the amount of near misses and the amount of accidents that I see, I've said it here on this show several times, and I keep calling for them to do something about the crosswalks, having the crosswalks go through 3 lanes. I don't know how the person didn't. Only God must have paused and pulled the person back. It was not that person's time. Crossing, both cars going east and north and south had stopped, and someone decided to pull to the middle. Wow. Just as everybody was stopping, speeding, and went right through that crosswalk in the middle lane.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. A conversation with Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Joe Hugh, will continue shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vamt Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamt Motors, Walkers Road.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
And the whole island is one big party.
Little Cayman, the 2022 Pirates Fest season starts with you. November 4th through the 6th with the official kickoff at McCoy's Sunset Bar, Friday the 4th, followed by the float parade, 3 p.m. on the 5th, starting from Southern Cross, costume competition, fireworks show, and don't forget about the Pirates Party at the Hungry Iguana. You know them pirates like a little party, Little Cayman style. Little Cayman Pirates Fest, November 4th through the 6th.
At Kirk's Home Center, we can make your life much better. We got it all together. We got a great deal in store for you.
Water Authority Cayman will conduct system testing in Cayman Kai on Thursday, 27th October between 2 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. as part of ongoing infrastructure works in the area. Customers on the following road will experience temporary service interruption during the testing: Sandpoint Road, Sankola Close, Water K from the Sandpoint intersection, Finger K Road, Camp Drive, and Kaibo Crescent. The Water Authority apologizes for any inconvenience this interruption in service may cause and thanks the public for their patience and understanding.
For the record, with Orrett CONN0R.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett CONN0R. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Member of Parliament and Deputy Leader of the Opposition, Mr. Joey Hugh. He's talking about the Auditor General's report and talking about pre-election spending and projects as well. And for the benefit of our listening and viewing audience, those who may have joined us earlier, if you could just repeat what the Auditor General has said in that report. And
sure. Yeah, and I'll just recap on that. So in the report on government spending for 2021-2022, there's two paragraphs on the pre-election spending and commitments. NRA pre-election expenditure. I noted through the audit of the NRA an unusual spike in executive is capital, major roadworks, road fund revenue and related costs during the period February to April 2021. This expenditure was approximately 11 million or 88% of the 13 million executive road construction budgeted for the first 4 months of 2021. As of the 31st of December 2021, the NRA had billed out a total of 23 million for this revenue stream. The funding gap was covered by the supplemental funding and unused 2020 appropriations. So that is why the 11 million represents 88% of what was budgeted for 2021. That's because due to COVID and being in lockdown, we were not able to spend the 2020 funding, and we brought it forward into 2021 to carry out the major roadwork projects that were delayed, that were put on hold. We extended our analysis by comparing these results with those of previous election years, period 2017, and noted the same trend. The road services revenue increased in 3 months leading up to the election. I was not minister then, it was my government, but I can't comment on that. This could indicate an abuse of public funds in the period leading up to the 2021 general election. The analysis carried out shows a significant spike in road funding revenue billed during the period February to April 2021. The NRA is susceptible to political interference, whereby to gain political benefit, politicians with influence over its operations may determine when and where road infrastructure projects can be undertaken. I noted that there is no framework governing road construction services for the executive assets construction. This makes NRA susceptible to political abuse. I differ with that. The funds were budgeted for executive roadworks, which are major roadworks. They were laid out in our manifesto. They were laid out as the priorities of the government, in particular the East-West Arteria and the 6 lanes from the Tomlinson roundabout to the Hurley's roundabout. The Airport Connector Road was certainly a priority of the government, and the Godfrey-Nixon extension, which had been gazetted from 16 years ago, had also become a priority of the government.
Okay.
I read to you earlier newspaper articles, press releases stating these things over the years leading up. The funds, as I said, were budgeted for the 2020-2021 period. We were only able to get out on the road with a small crew in May of 2020. At that time, even though we had started and had planned on doing the East-West Arteria and all of the major road works, including Linford-Pearson Highway, Godfrey-Nixon Extension, Airport Connector Road, we decided at the end of May, once we were able to get out, to focus on roads that required paving for decades, but because of the heavy traffic, we were not able to do them. This was the opportune time to do those because of no school and no tourists, and most people were still at home, right? Shedden Road, that's Georgetown Central. We didn't have we didn't have someone from Georgetown Central in our government at the time. But Shedden Road was an important road and a main thoroughfare that needed attention. We did enhancements there, we did widening there where we could, put in walkways, etc. So that was one. North Sound Road was another, which continues to be a very, very heavily congested area, very, very high traffic street. We were able, can you imagine closing North Sound Road now? I think they had to repair some poles there a couple of weeks ago, and they blocked one lane, and the traffic was east, west, blocked up everything. And so we did those, and also we reconfigured the junction by Jose's and the airport and paved that area as well. Those are major junctions and roads, streets that you could not generally get access to do so. So then once those were completed, we moved full speed. I even read the CNS article from that very same period that talked about these projects that we had planned and that we were going full tilt on those. Those were the reconfiguration of the Chrissy Tomlinson roundabout, the Prospect roundabout. We used to call it by the old car wash there, and then the Hurley's roundabout. We also reconfigured the Prospect Drive, and we increased from 2 lanes to 3 lanes as far as we could until we got to the cemetery, that they had to relocate some of the tombs there. And also we needed CUC to move some poles over and reconfigure that area. So a small stretch was left. That is where the funds went to. That's what they were budgeted for. Those works were always, they were on our manifesto. They were on the government priorities. They were priorities of the board. And it was only because of the delays of the pandemic why they were not done earlier. Again, they were budgeted for those purposes. They were widely publicized, and they were spent on those items. And I think the general public, motoring public in particular, those coming from the eastern districts, in particular those coming out of Red Bay and Prospect, can agree that those were works that were badly needed and have made an impact.
Okay. We still have about 2-3 minutes before we go to our headline news. Don't have any further messages from...
So I just wanted to, let me pull that up quickly. So again, I am disappointed in the veil allegations or implications made on the staff of the NRA, and certainly on myself in this particular case. Even though she mentioned 2017, she only spoke about the 2021 elections. And also the headline, Auditor General finds pre-election abuse of public cash, and a picture of myself done by the online blog CONN0R News Service. Very misleading and certainly not representative, A, of what the actual report said, and B, of actually what happened. The funds were budgeted and the funds were spent on what they were supposed to be spent on. So just wanted to clarify that, and I think I've said enough. And again, I think everybody can see where the work was done, and I have no regrets in that manner.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, folks, top of the hour, headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, the conversation with Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh, will continue, so please stay tuned.
89.9 Radio Cayman helps you to weather the storm during this hurricane season.
One of the most crucial elements of hurricane preparedness is storm awareness. During the season, it is of utmost importance to pay attention to the latest local weather forecasts, as hurricanes do not suddenly form or strike. There are various methods of advanced notification. Utilizing such may be the difference between a favorable outcome and disaster. Both television and radio serve as excellent mediums with up-to-the-minute storm path information in the wake of a hurricane. Another method of tracking a hurricane may be only arm's length away. Your smartphone or tablet can be your most valuable tool before, during, and after a storm, providing countless numbers of apps with crucial hurricane information. Many apps allow you to track storms with moving radar and satellite imagery, plus offer alerts, current conditions, forecasts, advisories, and even video.
This hurricane preparedness tip was brought to you by your community radio station, Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. Today's biggest news.
With your headlines, I'm April Cummings. The Cayman Islands Tourism Association's new president says there will be increased focus on bringing more micro businesses into the organization. Troy Leacock says he is excited to work with the new board of directors for the upcoming year as they strive to increase and broaden membership to fully represent and engage all stakeholders of the tourism industry. In international headlines, a 19-year-old South Florida man captured 28 Burmese pythons during a 10-day competition created to increase awareness about the threats the invasive snakes pose to the state's ecology. Matthew Concepcion was among 1,000 participants from 32 states, Canada, and Latvia who participated in the annual challenge, which removed 231 of the unwanted pythons. That according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. For his efforts, Matthew was awarded the $10,000 ultimate grand prize, courtesy of the Bergeron Everglades Foundation. Dustin Crum, meantime, won a $1,500 grand prize for removing the longest python at just over 11 feet. Nearly 400 school districts spanning all 50 states and Washington, D.C., along with several tribes and U.S. territories, are receiving roughly $1 billion in grants to purchase about 2,500 clean school buses under a new federal program in the U.S. The Biden administration is making the grants available as part of a wider effort to accelerate the transition to zero-emission vehicles and reduce air pollution near schools and communities. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris and Environmental Protection Agency Administrator Michael Regan are set to announce the grant awards today in Seattle. The new mostly electric school buses will reduce greenhouse gas emissions, save money, and better protect children's health. Those are your headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom. I'm April Cummings.
For the latest in news and information,
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Orrett CONN0R.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett CONN0R. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. Mr. Hugh, back over to you.
Thank you, O.C. O.C., just moving on to some other what we have seen in the news.
Sure.
There was I think comments made in the public accounts hearing on the National ID program, the digital ID program, and I was very happy to hear that the I think acting chief officer responsible for that now, who's very knowledgeable on the matter because she was the deputy chief officer in the ministry with myself when we were working on it. Tamara Ebanks announced that they intend to bring the final piece of legislation to Parliament before the end of the year, so that we may see the introduction of the digital IDs, the digital and electronic IDs. OC, this is, we've talked about this in many times, and we support this entirely. It's extremely important for the growth of the country and as well as for government as far as having information. I think, the lessons that we learned during COVID are, we can't forget those. COVID exposed a lot of our weaknesses, It also showed many of our strengths. And it showed where we could improve. And things such as data on our citizens was so key. And we had to literally almost do that manually. And you know, if we had the digital ID program, all of that would be available basically, and people would be able to register for things online. So much easier. If you even talk about stipend and help and that sort of stuff, it would have made everything so much easier. I've always maintained that because we don't have direct taxation, that we don't know anything about our people. There's nowhere to file, you know, who you work for, how much pensions is the closest place for us to get data on Caymanians. Work permit holders, we know everything about them. You have to tell us where you live, how much you make, what your position is, every time you change a job, all of those things. We know nothing about our Caymanian people. And then we saw the situation where Caymanians are still continuing, have to be, let's say, word they use by immigration to prove they're Caymanian, confirmed. The National ID program and through the population register, which was completed, will remove the need for all of that. Your one ID will tell everything about you. Because previously your birth and death and all that was held by the registrar, and your status was held by immigration. So through the population register, you combine those two, and in your digital ID, you will have that information that says, I am Caymanian, blah,
now,
blah, blah.
Hopefully, because we see that there are various entities that have their own rules or rules that they have implemented as a result of their international obligations. For instance, you have some financial institutions who won't accept a voter registration card as identification. Now, will we have legislation in place that will mandate that this national identification card be accepted as a valid and bona fide proof of our identity? Otherwise, we could possibly end up with the same situation that we have with the voter registration card.
That is what we should see coming in the upcoming legislation, I think, is the final piece of the puzzle. But yes, it is intended that this will be the national ID for the country. And everything will be available on that ID electronically. Now, there will be, the goal is to get to a point where you as the holder of that ID can control what persons can get from that ID. So, and you can actually even control how long. So police records, for instance, if you have applied for a job, you will allow your prospective employer to have access to that, to your police record for 1 month. Then after that, they can't get into the police record. Eventually, your school transcripts, everything will be there. And if you were to imagine a box up in the sky somewhere that has a padlock code that only you have the key to that, and then it has different departments in there that you also have keys for, you would be able to give someone the ability to go and open that box and check that department to read what's there or whatever. And this, you will have complete control over that. You don't have to allow anyone. You can download the stuff yourself and print it yourself. You can get digitized birth certificates, everything, without having to go down to an office to get them. This is going to be, and if with all of the security and the back end of it and the verification, which is important, and I assume that has all been confirmed now, the third-party verification, which is very important, that opens a door now for the private sector to start building on that back end, that perhaps we can finally get to where all of our banking stuff will be digitized. You'll be able to just update your banking, instead of filling out. I don't know if you're a PEP still because you're on a radio talk show. But yeah, it certainly opens a door for the private sector to build on to that back end and really move towards a digital economy.
Okay, I believe we have a caller on hold. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Good. And good morning to Mr. Hugh. I'm on my way
to court.
I'm on my way to court now, and just listening to the radio on my way down. And I listened to Mr. Hugh talk about the NRA. I just want to enlighten Mr. Hugh. The reason why you get into these problems with the Auditor General and stuff like that is because the NRA law is not complete. The NRA law calls for something called a roads fund. That road fund is supposed to be funding the NRA, and that road fund should have what they call a roads funds board. All the money that goes into the roads fund goes to fund the NRA projects. When I joined the NRA as a director, I didn't know anything about roads, so I went and I took the course at University of Manchester in England. It's set up by the World Bank and the Monetary Fund, and the course is called road financing and road financing and road development. For executives, for road executives. One of the main highlights of the course is the independence of the roads fund from the government, from ministers. Ministers should have nothing to do with the funding of the NRA, the National Roads Authority, and how it spends its money. That should go to a roads fund. All that money, all the taxes on gasoline and diesel and all the stuff that goes into the roads fund should go into the roads fund, and there should be a roads fund board. It should not go into government's coffer and become part of the central government's fund. That's the problem that you have with these things. When I came back, I tried to update the NRA legislation and draft a roads fund and draft a roads fund board of trustees of the road fund board, so that what happens is when an NRA needs to build roads or to finance roads or to develop roads or to repair roads, they go to the roads fund board and they say, this is what we want to spend, and the roads fund board say, well, we'll look at your request, and if the roads fund board has money, they will allow them to spend it. It should not come from ministers. Ministers should not have anything to do with it. What ministers' role is supposed to be is to make sure that the roads fund, the roads fund board has money in it, so the roads authority can have money to spend. That's the problem. We do things halfway, and then we got into all these problems when we got Auditor Generals who scrutinize and who do those things. That's the problem we have. It's not only the NRA like that. Other government companies are like that too, where they take the legislation that is international, universal, and then they strip it for the things that they don't want in it, the things that they want to take out their responsibility for, and then they put the legislation together, and this is what happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you, caller, for that, and I appreciate the insight. And you're absolutely right. I think we were working towards. I don't think the NRA is utilizing even 10% of, or working towards 10% of that. The funds collected under various, I think, importation of vehicles, etc., for the roads fund, But again, I must reiterate in this situation that the funds were budgeted, they were approved in Finance Committee, and they were set out and spent on the things that they were budgeted to do so. Ministers spent them. But also,
it should not be ministers that spending them. It should be the roads fund board.
The NRA board spent it, and the NRA spent it. But
the NRA board, that money should go into the roads fund board.
Okay.
And the roads fund board should then fund the NRA if they need. That's the problem I'm trying to get to you.
I understand that. And I'm just speaking to the situation as it is that the funds were budgeted, and then the government had made it very clear what their priorities, which roads were priorities in this matter, in this particular matter, sir. Thank you. I do agree. I know that the NRA law has been under revision. They were quite close when I demitted office. So I suspect that should be surfacing any time now, because the law was antiquated and needed to be upgraded.
Okay.
Updated.
Doc,
sorry.
I want to thank you. Thank you very much for that. Ms. Susan, we're going to go to that commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
So much happening, so fast, too much. It is hard for me to follow my health care instructions. The private counseling with West Bay Pharmacy literally saved my life.
At West Bay Pharmacy, we know how complex medications can be. Our pharmacists are delighted to offer you personalized one-on-one healthcare counseling, free medication review, therapeutic callbacks, and we will liaise with your physician to ensure you receive the best in quality medical care.
Quality of life has a whole new meaning with the right pharmacy to support you. Thank you, West Bay Pharmacy.
West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient quality care is just around the corner. Now you can WhatsApp your West Bay Pharmacy prescriptions to 516-0777.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Your dream home starts with a vision, and often inspiration is at the heart of that vision. Brand Source Home Gallery's in-house designers are here to help bring your vision to life. Whether you're remodeling or building a new home, Brand Source Home Gallery is your one-stop solution. Explore their kitchen cabinets, sinks, faucets, bath fixtures, tubs, vanities, and more. Let Brand Source's designers help and inspire you with your next project. Call 623-5000 and schedule an appointment with a design expert at Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, serving Cayman for 50 years.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
For the record, with Orrett CONN0R.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orrett CONN0R. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. Two questions here. One, the person's asking with the new proposed identification system, will that mean that documents, for example, school transcripts, police records, will be without a cost? And then the other person wants to get some comments from you in relation to the Deputy Premier and Minister of Finance, Honourable Chris Saunders' comments about the immigration process, the immigration issues, the delays in processing applications as well. So two things, two different issues there.
Thank you, Hussein. Thank those persons for writing in. Yeah, on the digital ID, that is the idea. Certainly things like school transcripts, once you have received them, you'll be able to keep them in electronic format with the original signature digitized or digitally certified. The police records, anything like that, and I'm not 100% sure, but there may be situations where things like police records may need to be updated because they're out of time.
Right.
Whether they would
usually 6 months is the lifespan.
But it would make it much easier to do that using once the entire government, in fact, it comes online with the digital ID and because there's two, and I think that they're going. I think it's yet to be decided whether it'll be mandatory for everyone to get the ID.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I would think there's probably going to be a phasing in period, and B, whether you can choose to have just a electronic signature or a digital digital signature
mm-hmm.
or ID.
Okay.
Those will make different. I think those will create some differences in the way that you can transact digitally. And digitally would mean that those are certified documents, etc., that you would download each time, versus just an electronic signature where I can sign something electronically and certify that.
Now, a national ID, will it be accessible only to those persons who are nationals as opposed to those persons who are guest workers, in the Cayman Islands, government employees?
I think for us to become a digital economy, it would need to be accessible to everyone resident in the Cayman Islands, and because that will now become can potentially replace your voter ID, your immigration card. So when immigration or CBC, when you get at the airport, you could just give that digital ID, and it'll tell them everything about you, where you worked, if your permit is expired, whether it's
because I don't think they issue those cards any longer, do they?
No. But I'm not. No, they just do a stamp, and you have to walk with your passport. So now persons will be able to walk with this ID, and if they're picked up on the side of the road, or if they're going to apply for somewhere, they would be able to present to say whether you're Caymanian or non-Caymanian, what your status is in the country.
Okay, got you.
So, as I said, this is the first step towards moving into what you would call a digital economy, to perhaps one day where we don't have physical banknotes, but everything is on your phone, or you have a choice whether you carry a physical debit card or whether you just tap with your phone and do online payments without the bank. So you avoid the 50-cent bank charges every time you do a transaction or write a check or whatever the case may be in that sense. I do know that there, as far as the industry of digital currencies and attracting, I know that we have attracted a number of well-known and large blockchain companies here. But I do know that I do believe that there is certainly some further legislation that's needed, and certainly some greater opportunities for us to enhance, to embrace that economy and to help build opportunities for young Caymanians, because that is the blockchain, the digital economy. These are things that our younger people are more inclined to participate in. And training is readily accessible. It doesn't require a 4-year degree. I really do believe that there's a very bright future for us in that industry, and certainly for our young Caymanians coming up. So I'm looking forward to seeing the government embrace this. I know that the Minister, Andre Ebanks, had spoken about it at the Chamber luncheon. I'm continuing to do research on it. If I don't hear anything from the government soon on the matter, I will probably bring a private member motion, certainly at a minimum, requesting the government to form a committee to review the opportunities for the digital economy.
Okay.
The second call, I didn't get to read the entire article, OC, to be quite frank. But I do know the situation that we are facing with the delays in PR for individuals, and I think, as we saw in the article, that first of all, I don't think it's fair to anyone for persons to have to put their lives on hold for such a long period of time to get an answer. I'm not saying that everyone deserves residency. I'm not saying that everyone should have theirs turned down. I'm saying that people should be able to get an answer within a reasonable time frame. And I'm concerned that when they do provide responses, persons and when they do get to those who have been waiting in excess of a year, by the time they get to them, perhaps their situations have changed. Their personal situations have changed to either exclude them from residency, or perhaps by that time they're now in a position where they failed, that they can now fulfill those extra points, and you end up with legal action. But I do think that we are, as a country, and certainly the board is running the risk of persons starting to take legal action and forcing the government to address the matter. But again, I just feel for the persons that are sitting with their lives on hold, waiting for a response. I think people deserve And as a government, we could do better in ensuring that persons get a timely response across the board, but certainly in matters of such where persons' lives are on hold.
Okay. Any other topic that you want to?
Yeah, certainly. I just want to raise the matter of housing. We've talked about it before, OC, and I've seen somewhere where the government have announced that they have formed a task force. I've said before that a lot of work was done in this area. The young man Matthew Hilton in the governor's office spearheaded an initiative that I was involved with. So I think a lot of work has been done before. I'm hoping that the government have simply picked up where that had left off, and they can claim it as their own, whichever way. But again, I think time is of the essence. It makes no sense to talk about things that we're going to do 16, 20 months down the road, or build houses 16, 20 months down the road. People need help now, and there's a lot of opportunities if we think outside of the box in ways in which we can help Caymanians become homeowners. It's even gotten to the point now, I'm not even just talking about home ownership, I'm thinking people need rental assistance. And I'm just encouraging the government. I'm not playing politics with this one, OC, because it is touching everyone. It is affecting businesses, it's affecting persons with child care, it's affecting Caymanians in their living conditions. Something has to be done, and I'm here to support the government and encourage the government to think outside of the box and find ways to assist our people in home ownership, as well as ensuring that they have protections and mechanisms in place that they can find somewhere to live that's affordable. I also asked a question, or had submitted a private member's motion, and we made a typo. I received a written answer on that, and that was about the Georgetown affordable housing, and I made a typo on the motion, and instead of saying 25 acres, I said 50 acres, and they rightfully responded saying that the NHDT have no knowledge of purchasing 50 acres in Georgetown, but it was 25 acres on the Linford-Pearson Highway that was purchased during our tenure for affordable housing, and what we were going to do there was not the typical affordable housing scheme, but a variety of townhouses, perhaps apartment block, some retail, etc., creating a little community there with various types of housing available for Caymanians. So I have not received a response. They just said they don't know anything about 50, but they have not, and that they're looking for a suitable place. But Georgetown, again, there seems to be no plans for affordable housing in Georgetown. A lot of effort is being put into West Bay, North Side, and East End. But, again, if we want to get some cars off the road, and if we want to ensure, get people closer to town, to where the center of commerce is, then you would think that we would be looking at some housing in the Georgetown area. And again, as I said on the show before, people would like to remain in their own district if they can. And I think it's just unfortunate that at this point we're not hearing anything about Georgetown. And I would like to encourage the Minister and the National Housing Development Trust to please reassure us and inform us as to what is happening with that 25 acres on the Linford-Pearson Highway, and what are the plans for affordable housing in Georgetown.
I just want to alert Ms. Susan for a minute. I have some WhatsApp messages, people saying that they're calling in but not getting any response. I don't know if there's any issue with the phone lines. Okay. Go ahead, sir. Sorry about that.
No. So that's, I just want to continue to keep that on the forefront and advocate for some commitment from the NHDT and from the Minister on affordable housing for our Georgetown residents. Many of them are in need of housing and do not, are not, would rather not relocate to another district. And again, I would think that we would want to focus on finding housing within the Georgetown area to reduce the amount of traffic coming in from the eastern districts. And I can tell you West Bay traffic will continue to build and build and build, and will soon get to the point where it was prior to the bypass.
And the thing is that we have our residents or citizens who are competing for housing with those persons who are guest workers coming in on work permits as well. Okay, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we return, we do have 2 callers on hold. We will take those callers. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
60 and bossy with J and money. When a trip it easy, trust me. Yeah. Come on, just send some money. I instant entry. Look how you lucky. Bossy, J and money, bossy. J and money, send you go a yard. Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy. We well proud.
Celebrate Jamaica 60 with J and money for a chance to win a dream vacation for 2 to Jamaica, including airfare, resort stay, and more. Send money for a chance to win. Your loved ones will also be entered for a chance to win a brand new car. Competition runs from now until December 24th. J and money 60 and bossy enough.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at J&Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Bossy, Jamaica well bossy. 60 and bossy.
No J&M bank account required.
After a storm, please do not use the public water supply until the Water Authority advises it is safe to do so. If the water supply becomes contaminated and unsafe to drink, the authority will issue a boil water notice. To comply with the notice, boil water vigorously for 4 to 5 minutes and let it cool before drinking. For more useful hurricane preparedness tips, visit the Water Authority's website at www.waterauthority.ky or follow us on social media.
For the record with Orrett CONN0R.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett CONN0R. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joe Hugh. 2 callers on hold. Let's grab those callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Austin.
Morning. How are you?
I'm good. And good morning to the leader there.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah. Romy, this is twice now I heard you on the radio concerning traffic, and it mostly about roads that have been built or roads that we need to build. Over 500 cars was imported into the country last year. And if you notice there, I would say hundreds of cars that are still parked up at the Port Authority place there to exit, to be placed on our roads.
Mm-hmm. And there's a backlog in Jamaica to get here, too.
And a lot. I heard that from Thompson Shipping that lots are there. Is there, that's your only opinion you have?
No.
To alleviate the traffic is building roads?
No.
Your opinion, you have an opinion about limiting the amount of cars that are coming in to the country and being put on our roads? I don't think that we can continue building ourselves out of traffic.
No.
I think I got a number on the Linford Pearson Highway back in the day, like I think like $2,000 or something a foot to build Linford Pearson Highway. And as you know, we're running out of
$1 million a mile. Mm-hmm.
Right, to build roads, Yeah.
No, I have very strong views on that across the board. I have very strong views on public transport, some of the things that we looked at. But to deal with traffic holistically, we have to address the importation of vehicles. We did bring I think it was Austin Harris brought a private member's motion on that, which was passed in the House, and a committee was put together with the recommendations. The recommendations were completed just before we demitted office, so they are there. the civil servants that worked in that, from the licensing department, from the traffic law, customs, and border control are all still there. And so I know those recommendations are around, but it spoke about restricting the importation of vehicles over a certain age limit, restricting importation of vehicles below certain safety standards. It spoke about perhaps one of the recommendations were that you could not import a vehicle. You could own, but you could not import a vehicle within the first 2 years if you are on a work permit. So there were a number. Of course, there was also a crackdown on persons who were importing vehicles strictly to just sell them without having a proper license as an automotive dealer. So there were a number of recommendations in there that would restrict the importation of vehicles for various reasons and slow down importation. Yesterday I was speaking to the members of the Youth Parliament, and a question was asked about if the person, actually, we were talking about budget, and they said if you needed more money, did you have to come back to the house? And I said yes. I said I had a situation. I used the license plates, the digital license plates, as an example, and I said we budgeted money to buy the license plates, but in the year that we budgeted for, there was an importation of 4,000 new vehicles. So we didn't budget enough money for we used all the license plates on the new vehicles before we could even retag the old vehicles. So I had to come back to the house to do that. By the time we came back to the house to get more money for more plates, there was another several thousand vehicles imported, and it just continued. And so, yeah, that's an example of it. And then the other part about it that I feel strongly is addressing public transport. And it's very simple for me. We have to have direct public transport. I would like to see a bus depot in the eastern districts that is secure, air-conditioned, lit parking with cameras. People can be safe to ride their bicycles, drive their cars, or get a ride to the bus depot, sit in comfort, whether it's 95 degrees outside or pouring rain, and then get onto a bus without getting covered in soaking wet from the rain or covered in sweat from standing in the sun. And then, you have another depot in Bodden Town, another one in Prospect, and then you come into town. Same thing coming from West Bay. You can have one in the heart, somewhere in Bosun Bay, and then another one at the fire station, and maybe one by Governor Square somewhere, and straight into town. And then you have your omnibuses operating within the districts. So a person could actually take an omnibus within the district, say in Prospect, out to the bus terminal to catch a main bus into town. And these run on a regular schedule. Then the other part of it, for me, I think that's important is the hop-on, hop-off around Georgetown, that once people get into town, they can make it from credit union across to Digicel, across to work, across to all of the government agencies that they need to access to, whether it's raining or 95 degrees out again. And then also hop on, hop off on West Bay Road. And perhaps encourage things such as airport transfers and that sort of stuff so that you don't have to have their mother. You want to make it easy for persons to move around without everyone driving a car. Mm-hmm. And we spoke earlier this morning about West Bay Road and other roads with the bike lanes like Eastern Avenue, and persons trying to traverse around that area on bicycle. We want to encourage that, but if you have to take risk your life to ride your bicycle, you're not going to do it. No one's going to do it.
Yes,
so yes. You are absolutely right, caller. We cannot build our way out of this. We have to come up with other ways of reducing traffic on the roads, and those are just but a few.
Yeah, because I know of people that their domestic Japanese vehicle has arrived on island before they arrived, before their permit was totally granted, but haven't arrived yet. But yet their domestic car that's not supposed to be exported out of Japan, but it ends up here in the Cayman Islands, which like Austin was talking about, being an unsafe vehicle.
Yeah.
So all those things we got to look into. And you mentioned dependable ground transportation. You must have been listening to my presentation on the OC show before, because yours are similar.
Yeah.
I guess, you should be elected.
I did say to the minister, because I did have a brief conversation with the minister around public transport, and I did say to him at the time that we just can't simply copy someone else's public transport. I think it's important that we not restrict ourselves to any particular idea, and we get the study done, because you never know. Because even one of the little things we thought about is turning the little omnibuses into a using technology to turn them into a Uber type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So if you live in Newlands, or you live in Prospect, or you live down in Birch Tree Hill, you would be able to actually call a bus, see where the buses are, and say, I need picking up here at this spot, and then the bus would divert and pick you up there.
Yeah.
Right?
But I've been to say I've been down in the Honduras area and stuff, and those side roads that take it down into those huge colonials, they call it. The vehicles that service that are not allowed to come on the main road.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. That's what. Yeah, we have to have that.
We're on the same page.
Yep. Caller, thank you very much for that. We're going to try to grab other callers as well. Next caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Thank you. Morning. Listening to Dr. Hugh, I take...
Not a doctor yet, sir.
That's all right. You're a doctor into your own world, and appreciate some of what you're doing as well. But the other day I got on the show, OC, when I was talking about a moratorium.
Mm-hmm.
I don't profess to be a university graduate, but certainly I would encourage people to understand that I am an average Caymanian with average education, and I have common sense. I said, and I will repeat, most of what is on the agenda this morning, the bigger picture is not hard to see. We are on a runaway train. When I see what's happening here, it reminds me of Hong Kong or Singapore, some of those places where you got to take mopeds and get into the smaller traffic to move on. What's the hurry to overload this little island with people? I mean, it's just too much going on. We need to have some sort of a moratorium to slow it down. When Mr. Hugh talk about, like the accommodation for the houses and so on, yes, rightly so. Because of what? So many people being on this island that are not Caymanians and maybe not even entitled to get the help from the government are going through the cracks and getting the help. Why don't we just decide, look, we need to slow this place down and try to preserve the quality of life? Because right now, I mean, it is so disheartening to see what's happening. Just about a mile up above me on the main road, we call it the wide road going towards the beach above Papagallo, there is a mountain of garbage. It had to be a huge lorry to dump that truck out. There was not just one load. I mean, one small truck. It had to be a big truck to pick this stuff up. I got some pictures of this thing. Where is the Department of Environment? We are so much on a runaway train because we cannot see what's before us. We need to slow things down. Nobody's going to starve, but if we don't do it now, we are going to starve. It's going to be more dogs and bones. So it is time that we just stop talking about politics and get real with what's happening here. I mean, it is the quality of life. It is so really deteriorating that I don't know what to say, but I hope, again, that what I'm saying will be taken in the context that it was meant to be, and look into it seriously, and just, you have to get some of these people off this island that practically, I can say, I'm almost sure they don't have any job, but they're here on work permits for what? They're hanging around the place, so you need a serious task force, a serious government to put these things in place. and not just to worry about who's going to vote for you, who's not going to vote for you. And I'm not throwing that into you, don't get me wrong. But there's so many things that is being overlooked. Where is the government of the day? That's my question. You call and you ask, and it's like a smoke screen put up there. You can't get hold of anybody while the island goes to hell. Gentlemen, I'm sorry to say, but we're not in a pretty situation. So thank you so much for listening to me, and you both have a pleasant day.
Thank you, caller, and you did the same as well. We're going to take our last commercial break. We have one caller in hold. We're going to make that caller the last caller because we want to give our guest opportunity for winding up and closing comments as well. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I go send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
West Bay, home to Barkas National Park, the touristy flair, a family community, a political powerhouse. From sports enthusiasts to car aficionados, affection for silver thatch roof. No matter how far you may venture, West Bay will always be where the heart is. Home will always be in West Bay. West Bay Pharmacy, caring for your home and your family. West Bay Pharmacy in Centennial Towers. Convenient, quality care is just around the corner.
Pirates Fest. A little bit of old, a little bit of new. The evolution of Cayman's Pirates. A little bit of fun for everyone. Grand Cayman festivities from November 10th through the 20th. 10 days, 33 events. From happy hour parties, cardboard boat races, the Trial of the Pirates, float parade, national song competition, pooch parades, races, fireworks. So many fireworks. Pirates Fest is here. 33 events, 10 days, November 10th through the 20th. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Pirate fire, raging through Church Street, bright and little Cayman, putting on some heat.
For the record, with Orrett CONN0R.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett CONN0R. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning with Deputy Leader of the Opposition. Deputy Leader of the Opposition and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. We have one last caller, so let's take that caller first. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Good morning.
On traffic, I think that, in the government or environment health is holding the country hostage on the Eastern District, saving swampland and making the developers destroy our beaches, and then government turning around and going to spend $21 million to restore it. That shouldn't happen. We need a road from the Eastern District right in town. Building up around Georgetown ain't solving the problem. It's always a bottleneck, and we need to get back the swampland, minimize the damage, because every one of them is in that environment building, making these developers destroy our beaches. And we get nothing back with the taxpayers have to pay for it. And I think it's time that they look and start replacing some of those in those positions that are making these bad choices and stop rewarding them with a paycheck. So I think the Auditor General should be looking into that. that they paid $21 million for that when it wasn't the government destroy it. And another thing now that the Auditor General should be looking in is giving these guys money from NAU, and they use it buying drugs. You got some guys walking around. They look like they're ready to date. It's a walking date. They should be taking a drug test on those that they're giving these money to, because they're only feeding the habit, you know. Buying a little beer or so here and there, not bad, but not when you're buying hard drugs. You know, the Auditor General needs looking at. So that's my take for the day.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, caller. And I'll read one last WhatsApp message we have as well. It says, the person says, I hope the Deputy Leader of the Opposition pushes the government to get the Cayman Islands upgraded and efficient public transportation system with proper buses and proper bus stops, and most importantly, a schedule that works.
Yes.
Put a moratorium on cars being brought in. Too many cars are in the Cayman Islands. Okay, so with that, you can respond to the other callers. And
no, I just wanted
the mic is yours.
Yeah, just thank them for the call. And the caller, you know, it's a very heated topic, the East-West Arterial. It's a matter of, you know, quality of persons' lives and the argument on the environment. There is you know, one of the things that is important is certainly the hydrological survey that needs to be carried out to see, you know, to study the flow of water and to ensure that water will be able to escape some of those basins. And we saw what happened just recently in the storm with the Savannah Gully, etc. And we don't want to create any more of those sorts of situations. From the environment standpoint, I was reliably informed by the then minister, and I'll allow him if he ever wants to call in and say so, and others, that East-West Arterial property had once been cleared already. And in fact, when we went up in a helicopter to look at it when I was minister, you could actually see a clear path, the difference in the vegetation line. And so I don't know how much of that was cleared, but I understand that the gazetted road was cleared many years back, and they went through it. So, you know, again, whether we require the full environmental impact study is questionable and arguable, and how long that will take, and what if the study comes back and raises points that the Department of Environment don't agree with. Do the government still have the fortitude to go forward with the road? But certainly I do believe that what is important is that hydrological survey to ensure that the passage of water, as they did on the Essex-Tibbetts Highway, because I know the effects when those culverts on Essex-Tibbetts Highway are blocked. We see tremendous flooding in the Washington Boulevard area and the areas surrounding. So I know how important that is. But I am concerned that after the years of doing the environmental impact assessment, and again, if they say that they don't feel that the issues can be mitigated from the environment, what do you do then? How do we make it easier for our people and improve their quality of life as they traverse from the eastern districts into Georgetown? And his other points, he's absolutely right. You know, where we got to be focusing on is on that national development plan. I can't just say that enough. It's almost 25 years old. The national development plan since the last time it was revised. That has to be a key priority. I hope they move forward with Plan Cayman as it has been speculated, because that's especially to deal with the 7 Mile Beach corridor. That should be, you know, get in there, deal with it immediately, change the laws. I see that the Deputy Premier is now touting taller buildings. He touted it for other reasons, but I feel that if we have to bring people back from the beach and give them set them back further and give them that square footage horizontally versus sprawling out and going closer to the beach is an option. But we have to do something, and we have to start by changing the law. As long as the law allows persons to do this, they will continue to do so. The tricks of the trade from decades of waiting until the right moon and the low tide to go and measure your high water mark, it's still being done because you're allowed to do it under the law. Right? So thank the caller for that. Was there a second caller? No. We just had one since
just last one. Yes, yeah.
I just wanted to touch on something else really quickly. I know we're getting close to the 10 o'clock mark, and maybe you can pick it up on your show Friday. But I'm reading some of the celebrations from certain quarters about the reduction in cruise numbers that's coming. And
we did have the minister on.
And I heard the minister and saying that we're going to look at other cruise ships, etc. But I just wanted to point out the real effects of it, and I hope that the government is paying attention to this. But if we're talking about a 750,000 reduction in cruise passengers in 2024, 23 to 24, I assume, high season, at $14 per head, passenger tax is what we collect now from cruise passengers.
Okay.
That is $10.5 million for the year, straight out of the government budget, straight out of the Port Authority budget, most importantly, which is huge in the operation for the operation of the Port Authority. The other thing is that if we even take, the last study done said that the average daily spend was $80 to $110 per passenger, being on the high end, which they said like those on the mega cruise ships, etc. So if we're going to the smaller 5-day cruises for $300 a 5-day cruise, you're looking at the $80. Let's take it from the $80 passenger spend, $80 per passenger onshore spend. That is times 750,000 is $60 million. That's $60 million less that will be spent on Stingray City tours, island tours, taxi, food and beverage, etc. 60 million out of the economy. That goes straight into the pockets of those working in that industry. I'm not taking into account the trickle-down effect. I'm not taking into account the $5 to $8 or $10, whatever it is, per passenger that the tenders receive, and the Caymanians that work for the tenders, because a lot of these smaller boats tender their own passengers. They have their own tenders. Okay. So I hope that the government is looking at this holistically and are preparing, because it's not as simple as I read the blogs from those who perhaps are not aware of the living that some Caymanians make, and we're talking 3 and 4 generations of those who do North Sound tours, etc. Perhaps they're not aware that you simply, it's not just a simple, just retool them. It doesn't work that way. It's not that simple. If they understand the culture of our people, if they understand that you're talking about persons 4th generations that have worked in that industry, that enjoy and have that Caymanian smile, that take people out to Stingray City, etc., it's not going to be that easy to just say simply retool them.
And the increase in stay-over tourism will not fully compensate for the loss on the other end, you believe?
That's what I believe. Where are you going to get the increase in stay-over tourism? You have one hotel that's almost completed. That's a business hotel, the Indigo. I don't think that's a whole lot of rooms. The NCB hotel looks like it's a couple years from completion. The Hyatt is certainly 3 to 4 years away from completion. How are you going to increase room inventory? How are you going to increase stay-over tourism without more room inventory? Because we're fighting against all the new hotels. Nobody wants to see new buildings. Nobody wants buildings on the beach. So there's no. Those are the only 2 hotels that are in the pipeline, and they're still a couple of years away. So where are we going to see the real increase in stayover tourism? Are we going to push them towards Airbnb? Because that, in my opinion, is a part of the issue with our housing crisis. So I'm not putting any blame on anyone. I'm just pointing out these
the
things,
realities.
the realities. And I hope that the government is aware of these realities and that they have a plan in place to assist those persons when the time comes. And they can't wait until it comes. They need to put it in place before that. We know through the scheduling that we will see a drop of almost 50% in cruise passengers from what we were accustomed to. So we should start preparing for that from now.
Okay. Well, Mr. Hugh, I want to again thank you for making yourself available, sharing your information with the listening and viewing audience.
I do have to make, sorry.
Sure, go ahead.
I do have to find two quick announcements. As part of our continued 20th anniversary celebrations, we have tonight there is a karaoke evening at the office bar. Next week, Saturday, we will be having a health clinic and a seafood feast or local food feast at the cricket grounds. So we would encourage everyone to come out to that. I think we will probably have someone on next week with you to talk about that. Okay. And let me just pull it up here. Sorry, OCI. Totally. We also have coming up our Cayman Gospel Fest, featuring local performers and church choirs, and the headliner will be Carlene Davis, the gospel singer from Jamaica.
Okay.
So that's coming up on the 19th of November, and we'll also be having we're going to be having a pool and domino evening at the Energy Lounge. I'm just trying to find the date for that one.
No. Just getting one date ready for it.
OCI will have to call. What I'll do is I'll send you a message on that.
Sure.
I don't want to hold you up any longer on that date, so that and you could read that out possibly for us. But lots of opportunities for individuals to come out and mingle and help us celebrate our 20th anniversary. And we're really looking forward to a week from Saturday. Lots of good local food, headed up by Kurt Tibbetts, so you know that it's going to be delicious. And we'll also have the Health Services Authority there doing health screening. So it should be a good opportunity to come out, have some good local food, get your health screened, and help us celebrate our 20th anniversary.
Okay, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling, Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record, proudly brought to you by Pirates Fest 2022. Stay in the know. Get the full event lineup at piratesfestcayman.com.
Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money. From abroad to yard. Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio